Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Force here, and we are continuing our campaign playthrough series of Magic the Gathering Duels of the Planeswalkers 2013. And now we are up against the almighty Jace. And we're probably going to get another video thing with him too. I am going to go with, he's got a blue deck. I'm going to go with Goblin fun here. Yeah, let's give it a shot, shall we? He's got some crazy deck flexibility, but look at how slow it is, huh? I mean, obviously this stupid star rating system can only be taken so seriously, but we'll see if Goblins can overwhelm Mr. Magical Spellcaster, Emo Hair, Glowy Eyes, Jace. What's his last name? Ballarun? Ballahuni? Shibamadu? Well, I'm just making stuff up. All right, he's 23 years old, 5'10", 160 pounds. What a little weakling. Blue mana-based mind magic. So many wonderful flavor text things here, and I'll flip through them if you guys feel like reading them. Please feel free to pause the video. Mr. Jace, Memory Adept. All right, let's get right into it, shall we? I am ready for some magic. I am magically prepared for some magic. Ooh, this is fast, this is fast, this is fast. I'm just gonna take it. I'm playing first. I got Raging Goblins. I'm raging for something. All right, guys, this is awesome. I'm excited here. Play first. Let me show you the hand really quick. 3 mountains, you know what those are. They tap for red mana. 2 Raging Goblins, 1/1 haste. Bam, first turn, swing in your face, Mr. Jace. Got 2 of those. Also got a Goblin War Chief. Goblins cost 1 less to cast. All Goblin creatures I have control have haste. That's good to have. And then I've got this, Krenko's Command. Colorless and a red, 2 1/1 red Goblin creature tokens onto the battlefield. Now, some of you have said things like, Force, you get good hands. Force, what's going on? Guys, the game's random. The card game is random, the digital game is just as random. The thing is, though, when it comes to building decks, constructing decks, and this can only be taken so far here in Duels of the Planeswalkers because he's taken 1 damage, because of the fact that everything is pretty predetermined for you. You only have a set amount of cards with which to choose from that you unlock for the decks that you can swap in and out. So there's really not a lot of wiggle room with these decks, but still, when you construct a decks, you construct them and you keep in mind their synergy. You keep in mind the fact that, okay, I've got 60 cards. I want to make sure that I've got 4 of this, 2 of this, 1 of, you know, depending on the card type, how useful it is, how you want to make sure that you're trying to play something in a set progression. There's all things to think about when constructing decks, and these decks are pre-constructed with those things in mind, such as synergy and deck speed and the proper amount of mana and all that stuff. But anyways, the point is, Magic the Gathering is random. These games aren't set up, they're not rigged. It's just, you know, you play the game, you get what you get, play properly, which I sometimes do, sometimes don't, and there you go, that's what happens. All right, now we got 2 in play. Now the question is, what do I want to do? You know, I've got a bunch of stuff here. I could play this, 1/1 with Kicker. When it enters the battlefield, if kicked creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain haste until end of turn. I'm going to hold off on that, though. I'm going to save that for an upcoming turn, all right? So this turn, we are actually just going to Raging Goblin. I'm going to play another one. I don't want to play him yet. I want to save him for the kick, for a big push in a couple of turns coming up when I have more creatures in play and it's more beneficial for me to get +1/+0 across the board. So he's just going to sit in my hand. We're going to swing for 2, though. This attack phase. Hit Jace right in the face, bring him down to 17. Hit Jace in the face. Now the issue with this deck, though, is that I'm ramping up here. I'm doing lots of damage early on, but it starts to tail off a little bit, and the power swing will likely move in Jace's favor if we start to get to around turn 4 to 5. That's when I'm assuming he's going to start to take full swing here. Let's see what he's got turn 2, if anything. Turn 2, well, a little bit of lag there. He plays a Sapphire Medallion. All of his blue spells cost 1 colorless less to cast. Fair enough. This turn, gonna keep up the keep the pace going here. Picked up a Goblin Grenade. Oh, so good. Is this really type 2 now? Or is it just for the digital game? This card was amazing. Look at this. Sack a Goblin, 5 damage. target creature or player. It is a sorcery, so I can only play it during my turn, during the main phases. I can't play it during his turn. It's not an instant, but still, so good. All right, what we're gonna go with here, I think, is the Goblin War Chief, right? Get my 2/2 in play, and he's gonna have haste. We'll be able to swing at him right away. Next turn is gonna hurt for Jace. I'll tell you that much. Next turn is going to hurt for Jace. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, indeed. So, 4 now. Let's bring him down to 13. My concern is untapped mana. If he's sitting with untapped mana next turn, my concern is counter spells. So, we have to keep that. I don't know what Jace has in his deck. I don't know that he has counter spells, but that's what I'm worried about happening. All right, Jace, what do you got? Anything? Place another mana. Okay. 2/2. Enters the battlefield, return target creature to its owner's hand. So he's gonna throw my 2/2 back to my hand here, which kind of puts a kink in my plans. And I didn't draw into... All right, so things are a little bit different here this time. This isn't exactly what I had in mind. Let me think about this really quick here. All right, I'm gonna try playing the War Chief again. And then I'll say go to him. All right, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna try playing the War Chief again, and then I'm gonna tell him to go. Let's see if he counterspells. I don't want to swing because I don't want to lose any of these. I'm saving up for a big attack very soon. I'm gonna just let him go. I'm nervous though. I'm nervous what Jace is gonna do this turn. Plays another Sapphire Medallion. Blue spells cost 1 colorless less to play, so now they cost 2 colorless less to play. And then he throws this into play. 2/2. Target player draws 2 cards and then discards 2 cards. I'm okay with that being in play. All right. I really want to draw a mountain. Is he gonna attack? That's fine. I'm gonna let it go through. I am a-okay with that. Skip blocking. All right, JC Poo. Please draw a mountain. Please draw a mountain. Yes. Oh, beautiful. All right, so that is good for me. That is good for me. I can do this, and then I can kicker that. That's what I'll do. All right, ready? Krenko's Command. 2/1/1 goblins into play. Then, Goblin Bushwhacker with kicker. All my goblins get +1/+0. They get haste too, but they already had haste from him. And then, we swing. So I could have shocked, but I rather get the extra creature. I'd rather do an exchange with him. He's probably going to block my 3/2 with his 2/2, but I'm actually okay with that because a lot of damage is going through. So that's cool. We're going to trade that. Obviously, I would love to have him in play, but the point is I'm forcing damage through here, and I think this was the optimal situation. Next turn, I've got 2 options. I can shock and Goblin Grenade. He can counter both of those. I can still swing and kill him. So I think that this should be the game next turn, unless something funny happens. 1/4, he can tap a blue and tap it. Target player puts the top 2 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. Okay, so he has the ability to mill. Good for him. And what is this thing? Return a target non-land permanent into its owner's hand. If into the royal was kicked, draw a card. Okay, so he's returning a... What is he doing? He's returning a 1/1 to my hand. I guess that makes sense because it goes in the graveyard. That was a token. Tokens can't actually go in your hand. He is tapped out though. He is tapped out. I will shock a creature. I will attack, which should win me the game. If it doesn't, for some weird reason, that he can do something that I can't see, then I can Goblin Grenade him after the fact. You wouldn't, normally, you might say, okay, Force, you can do 5 damage to him with Goblin Grenade. Why wouldn't you just do it now? Technically right now, I can, because he's tapped out. If he wasn't tapped out, I would worry about a counter spell, and I wouldn't want a Goblin Grenade. But also, why sacrifice a creature now that I can just attack with and get through damage anyways, and I can do that after if necessary. So that's why I'm not just gonna go straight for the 5 damage. I'm gonna have my attack phase go through based on the current situation. And I especially would not do this first. Again, if he had mana untapped, I would especially not do it first. But we should be able to get the win with this. That's gonna exchange. He keeps his 1/4, but my 1/1 dies. But this 3 damage pushes through, and we kill Jace. Force wins. Big surprise. All right, in defeating Jace, I unlocked his deck, which will be cool. I think we'll maybe give that a try coming up. But let's go back to the campaign ladder, shall we? Back we go. Congratulations, I beat Jace. And then tell me this random stuff. Who cares? The answer, my friends, is that nobody cares. This unlocks the next tier here. Alara. Alright, so here we are in the Alara tier. And we start off with an encounter, Dragon's Eyrie. And then the next major thing after that encounter is Nephorox. So, the encounter, Dragon's Eyrie, I would like to try Jace's deck with. I don't know anything about Jace's deck, so I will be interested to see what it's all about. Won't you be interested? If you're interested, please stay. Thank you. All right, let's take a look at the hand here. 3 islands. This guy, 1/4. I can mill my opponent, target player. I can mill myself too if I wanted to. Target player puts the top 2 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. Also, Visions of Beyond. Draw a card. If a graveyard has 20 or more cards in it, draw 3 cards instead. So I can use this early on to be like, hey, let me draw a card. Or if I have 20 cards in my graveyard, or any card has 20 cards in a graveyard, then I get to draw 3 cards instead. So it turns it from a 1 mana to draw 1 card to a 1 mana to draw 3 cards, which is obviously freaking good. We have get this right here. Any number of target opponents, each discards his or her hand and draws 7 cards. Draw a card. Then we've got this. Sleep. 2 colors, 2 blue. Tap all creatures target player controls. Those creatures don't untap during their next untap step. That is obviously good. There you go. That is my hand. I will just keep it. I don't know this deck. I don't know what it's capable of. I am not going to Visions of Beyond now. I will save that for later. And I will just say go. So we're playing the slow game here in this deck. We'll see how that does against this dragon encounter, whatever the heck he has. My assumption is going to be that he's not playing a lot early on. If it's a true dragon deck, dragons are typically pretty costly. All right, here's an enchantment. Whenever you draw a card, you may have target player put the top card of his or her graveyard into his or her the top card of his or her library into his or her graveyard. This is good. So I draw cards, he mills. Now I'm almost 100% certain that this is a mill deck where I'm trying to make my opponent, trying to get rid of their hand, basically. Get rid of their library. I'm trying to get rid of their library. I wish I looked at this deck ahead of time so I could try to figure out the combos and stuff. But I can just obviously work with what I've got. The thing is, I don't know what I'm drawing into at all, so that kind of changes the decisions you would make, knowing what you have the potential to draw into. All right, here we go, Dragon, first one in play. It's an 0/1 flying, but he can pump it up with red mana, +1/+0. So he can start doing damage next turn with that. All right, drew into a Howling Mine, and since I drew, he had to mill a card. That is what just transpired. Now I will Howling Mine right away. I think I want to start this process here. So there's Howling Mine. Not Visions from Beyond yet. Still waiting on that. So here's the deal. With a deck like this, it's quite obvious at this point where trying to survive the early game becomes the key. If you can survive early on and make it, you know, a few turns in, then you start to get an advantage. But he's gonna start doing damage now, so I really gotta, you know. There's 3 down to 17. I hope there's something like Washout in this deck. All right, so I drew a card, he had to mill 2. Just like that. He's already down to 26 cards. Just like that. Alright. One color's for a 1/1 flying, gets +4/+4 as long as an opponent has 10 or more cards in his or her graveyard. That is awesome. There's my Visions from Beyond. I also drew into this with the kicker. Ah, nice. Let me do that then. That's an instant. Oh, I can't kicker it yet. Shoot. I don't have enough to pay with the kicker. I need 4 to pay with the kicker. I can play this, right? Yeah, I can just go with that. And, I could also Visions, but I think I want to wait. The question is, you know, can I survive? That's always going to be the question. So let me get him in play for now. I like the sleep in my hand. I need to start drawing some more mana though, especially for Into the Royal. Okay, so I can block and kill his creature too because it only has 1 toughness. So he's gonna play this right here, 2/2 flying, Furnace Whelp. He can pump that up. All right, so that is what I'm gonna want to return with Into the Royal. No question about that. Draw 2, he discards 2, he is down to 22 cards. We're getting close to milling him pretty fast here, guys. We're getting very close to milling him out. Target player puts the top 2 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard, draw a card, and that's an instant, which is good. But Into the Royal is probably what I want to do here. That's obviously really good too. Discards his hand and draws that many cards, huh? I can take a little bit of extra damage next turn. This is going to be a lot of mill for him. He's going to be down to 14 after this. That'd be really good. Let me take a look at this. I think I can honestly hold off on doing this. I think I would like to do this right away. So I'm going to make him discard his hand. He's got 7 cards in his hand. So he discards his entire hand and then draws 7 cards. That's going to put him down to, gosh, that's going to put him down to 15 cards in his library. I think I'm just going to try to go for the mill victory here. That is also going to pump him up, I think. Yeah, okay, this is good. We're going to wheel and deal. Wheeling and dealing. So he discards his hand, draws 7 cards. He's down to 14. My attack phase, I've got a 5/5. I'm just going to use him for blocking, I believe. Yeah, I just want to use him for blocking. I'm not going to try to win by doing damage to him here. I'm just going to try to mill him out. For one, just because I think it's hilarious. I think milling someone is... it's alright. Oh, I'm sorry. He went down an extra card because I also drew a card. That's why it was 14 instead of 15. Silly me. Alright, plays a 0/1 flying. Just playing another one of those creatures he had before. That's fine by me. Still got my 5/5 in play and plays another one. Alright. He's down to 12 cards, guys. 12 cards. He discards 2 more, puts him down to 10. Let's see what I drew into. At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player draws 2 additional cards. I also have Thought Scour. I can draw into more. Still have Visions from Beyond. I think he's got 20 in his graveyard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I'm sorry. 1, 2. Let me do this with the arrow key. It'll be easier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 cards in his graveyard, so not quite 20. So my Visions would not do for 3. Still have that in play. Target opponent puts the top 7 cards of his or her library into his graveyard. Oh my god. Mind Sculpt. 7 cards into your graveyard, buddy. He's got 3 cards in play. Target player puts top 2 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard, draw a card. Can he kill me next turn? No, I don't think so. Skip attack. End phase. Gonna do... I can do that, but not with kicker. Could draw 3 cards. Let me draw 3 cards. All right. Well, his hand's gone, so he loses the game. I don't even know this deck. And that was just a pretty quick win there. I'm going to discard an island. And I win! Alright, so remember, in Magic the Gathering, there are 2 win conditions. You win by depleting someone's life, or you win by decking them, and then the next time they are forced to draw a card, that's it. So, that game, a large portion of the reason that I was able to deck him so fast came down to my enchantment that I had in play that made it so that whenever I drew a card, he had to take cards off the top of his library. That deck is a lot of fun. Wow, that was great. That was fantastic. And that'll do it for this video. Thanks for watching, guys. Just beasted that encounter with the Jace deck. Jace deck is a lot of fun. Might try using it in the upcoming encounters as well. Oh yeah, Alara coming up next. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for the upcoming video. And yeah, if you like the content, please subscribe. And as always, keep watching and, that's right, keep owning.